It isn't hard to get lost in all the complexity of character creation in Baldur's Gate 3. A whopping 11 races, 12 major classes, and 46 subclasses is just the tip of the iceberg. On top of that, you have to choose your background, ability scores, spells, feats, and your visual appearance. But don't worry, in this guide I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about character creation in the game. The first thing you need to decide on is if you want to play as an origin character or not. Origin characters come with predefined choices for both race and class. They allow you to experience the game from their perspective. The cinematic shown here, for example, gives you more insight into Astarion. Playing an origin character allows you to see the world through their eyes, including all the baggage and history they've accumulated for themselves. You can recruit them as companions, but it is not the same as playing them as an origin character. Also, Baldur's Gate 3 is a deep and complex game where companions react to how you treat them. So you might not learn anything at all about some of them. The only exception to this is the Dark Urge. While the Dark Urge has its own origin story, you can fully customize the character itself like any other custom character you might create. You cannot recruit the Dark Urge as a companion in the game though. Instead, you have to play as that character to experience his or her story.
The branch of flesh is begging to be pruned, and its sap sucked from.
Let's look into the creation of a fully customized character. Be aware that the layout for character creation has changed since early access. In this guide, I am using original footage from Larian Studios' Panel from Hell release showcase. Race is the second major decision you have to make. This includes elves, tieflings, drows, humans, Githyanki, dwarves, half-elves, halflings, gnomes, dragonborn, and half-orcs. Depending on your choice of race, you will have a variety of options to change the look of your character, such as skin color, facial hair, tattoos, and more race-specific aspects like horns, for example. The race you choose affects your experience in the game by opening up unique dialogue options in conversations. These options sometimes allow for different solutions to a particular problem, and you will also experience that NPCs treat you differently just based on your race. Subraces let you customize your character even more, and while your choice here can affect dialogue, your main race choice is much more important. Both race and subrace decisions come with race features, and some of them can have a significant impact on gameplay. In the case of Dark Vision, for example, it allows you to see better in dark parts of the world, and there are plenty of those. By having Dark Vision, you are more likely to hit your targets. Check out the individual bonuses of each race when making your choice. And don't fret if you won't get Dark Vision as part of it, since there are plenty of other options to light up the darkness in the game. If you're a D&D player who's familiar with the 5th edition rule set, you should be aware that races in Baldur's Gate 3 no longer affect ability scores. Instead of that, ability scores are now tied to classes. Personally, I suspect this was done to increase the freedom for players, rather than forcing them to focus only on a few viable races for a particular class. Next, we then have the classes. In total, there are 12 major classes that branch out into 46 subclasses. The major classes are Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. Like your race, the choice you make here can open up unique dialogue options and affect how the world reacts to you. All classes will be able to choose subclasses at some point. Some of them do so as early as character creation, while others only unlock these options after leveling up in the game. Subclasses allow you to specialize even further into a particular playstyle, and will grant you specific subclass features. As mentioned before, classes are the defining factor in Baldur's Gate 3 when it comes to your ability scores. Abilities are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. These abilities influence everything from your hit chance in combat to your success during certain dialogue options. The class section provides brief explanations of what each class is about. This should further help with your decision. You can also find information about certain actions or spells unlocked by choosing a particular class. Be aware that in Baldur's Gate 3, spells and other actions are limited to a certain amount of uses before you need to rest in order to restore them. Cantrips provide an exception here. These are basically spells you can cast as often as you want without resting. Some of the classes come with choices to be made around what spells and cantrips you want to start with. While you're free to choose, it might be a good idea to stick to the initial suggestions unless you're already a bit more familiar with the game or D&D's 5th edition in general. Backgrounds define some of the backstory of your character. They are all about your personal history and come each with a proficiency in 2 skills. I don't want this guide to become too focused on specific mechanics, but skills are basically your expertise in certain things like stealth or persuasion. Being proficient in one of these provides a modifier that makes you more likely to succeed when that skill is used. A variety of different backgrounds are offered, ranging from hermit to folk hero or urchin to noble. Each background has distinct quests you can complete in the game. When completing quests that are aligned with your background, you gain inspiration and experience points. You can have up to 4 inspiration points and they can be spent to reroll ability checks, giving you another shot at a positive outcome. The combination of background, class, and race heavily affects how others in the game react to you. Choosing different combinations will change your gameplay experience. And when you combine that with different choices made throughout the game, it can lead to vastly different outcomes. Always remember, what you do can affect the lives of your companions and the main story. Before we wrap things up, there are 2 mechanics that we still need to talk about: multiclassing and respeccing. Multiclassing allows you to combine different classes with one another. You could, for example, start out as a fighter that branches out into becoming a rogue, or a paladin that takes on aspects of a cleric. While this allows for endless interesting combinations, it should be noted that it is very easy to choose a combination that results in a weaker character overall. Unless you know what you're doing, it's a good idea to stick to one class when it comes to raw power and efficiency. Last but not least, respecking basically means the opportunity to get rid of all prior decisions except for your race. It allows you to try out something entirely new or to undo that awkward multiclassing attempt of yours. Personally, I will aim for a good playthrough as a human fighter to begin with. This is just what I always tend to play in RPG games first. Having said that though, I'm already looking forward to a second run as a Dark Urge to really dive into the twisted storyline that particular Origin character seems to offer. And that's it for today. After dozens of hours on early access, I can already say that I'm absolutely in love with this game. Without a doubt in my mind, this is something I want to experience from multiple viewpoints. But what type of character are you planning to play first? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 content in the future.